Shelley, can I ask for a roll call? Oh, sorry, invocation. Sasha, I invite you to do our invocation today.
Y'all, please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for this day, for bringing us all together here. I pray that you lead and guide us to make wise and knowledgeable decisions for the betterment of the Cherokee Nation. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. My apologies. At this time, Shelley, can I ask for the roll call?
Yes, ma'am. And I'll once again do 2 roll calls. So Danny Callison. Here. Mike Dobbins. Here. Johnny Kidwell. Here. Joshua Sam. Here. Mike Shambaugh. Melvina Shotpouch. E.O. Smith. Here. Kendessa Teehee.
Ani.
Victoria Vasquez. And for those in just in an election, I need to know that you're here and if you want to be a member of this committee. So Sasha Black Fox Qualls.
Here and yes.
Julia Coates. Here. Joe Deere.
Yes.
Kevin Easley.
Here.
Lisa Hall.
Here and yes.
Daryl Legg.
Here. Yes.
Dora Petzkowski.
Here, yes.
Cody Poindexter.
Honey, yes.
Okay, we have a quorum of 17.
Thank you, Shelley. At this time, I will ask for an approval of the minutes from last meeting. With a motion and a second on the floor, I call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any in opposition? All right, the motion carries. First, we are going to hear from Diane Kelly with Vocational Programs, Talking Leaves Job Corps and Career Services. Welcome, Diane.
Chair and members of the Tribal Council. We are really excited. We got wind from our contractor, James Walters, he's working with us at CNB, that the building code inspector with the state finally got around to doing the building inspection, and construction for our new training center began today. So if you drive by
Wonderful.
what was the old fairgrounds and the 2 buildings that are out there, that's phase 1. Well, they started today on the construction, so we're real excited. Hunter was turning cartwheels when he got the word last week. And then on, I think it was Thursday, we got word. We had put in for a grant almost 2 years ago, and it was one that we were going back and forth on. I can't tell you the name of the grant because they have to announce it, and it's a little bit, premature on our part. But we obtained a grant for over $1 million. That's all I can tell you. And it is for services, but I can't tell you what the services are. But I will next month. It's just that they just had to call us and let us know that our grant finally was funded. And it's a first for us in this one category. So we're real excited. We've got about 8 more out there, and we've got our fingers crossed that we're going to get some more. But it's for services throughout the 14 counties of the Cherokee Nation Reservation. And we notified Chief immediately when we found out, but we said we can't announce it, we can't tell anything. But the staff are real excited about it. And we just had a meeting a little while ago to start working in that arena for getting everything ready to go. So I just wanted to share that with you because we're excited. I know a certain individual on the council will be too. Review was done 3 weeks ago. We had an outside group that came in and looked at our Job Corps Center. We have our 5-year plan that we have to put in place this fall, and then it goes in the spring. And they were here for a whole week. They visited with our management team. They provided technical assistance. And then there was some things that they obtained from us while they were here. And we've had a follow-up call. Our report should be coming in this week. And we'll use that as a guide while we're building that 5-year plan. For those of you that are new on the council that don't know much about Job Corps, we would invite you to come over. We do tours every Thursday. We'd invite you to come over and go on a tour and have a really nice meal in our culinary arts department. They put on a nice meal. And if you're going to come over sometime, let us know, and we'll make sure that we show you all the things that go on over there. Our recruitment group, headed up by Julie McPeak, they are getting the enrollment up, so our enrollment's going up, and we hope by the time we have to put that plan together, that we've actually got our enrollment up. We do a contract with Department of Labor for the Job Corps Center. It's not a grant. So what we do is we do a 5-year contract with what they call option years. As long as you're meeting your goals and objectives by year, then you can apply for the option year based on your performance standards. So we have to turn these performance standards in every month, and they are looking at them, and then they have meetings with us weekly throughout the course of time. So if we're not meeting the performance standards, then they let us know. They kind of ding us, or they will say, doing a good job. When the group came over, they said that we had a stellar counseling department, which is headed up by Daryl Hamby. And they said that our inventory is headed up by Eddie Ross, and they said it was also stellar. So that made me feel good that there's 2 areas that they really complimented us on. And they said that there's some work that needed to be done in some other areas, but they didn't say there was anything real bad, but things that could be fixed or things that could be brought forward. There was some things that were antiquated, and that was some of the forms that we were using. But when you only operate one center, and most of these contractors operate 7 to 8, and they have a staff that works with all the centers, I guess I'd say that we're doing a decent job. And so I just wanted to share that with you, because you don't hear much about the Job Corps, but I would like to invite all of you to come over anytime. I know they'd love to have you come over. You have our report. Kim Childers spotlighted 2 of her students that came through the Career Exploration Program. And then we talked to you about one of the training programs that we've got going on, and then we spotlighted a couple of Job Corps students. And James Ballard put a report in there to show you where all his voc rehab people are actually in training. So there's a lot of good, positive things going on in the department. We've got a lot of people that are really excited about the stuff that they're doing. And we're growing, we're adding on. Like I said last month, most of the grants we get are specific for specific things, and we have to follow those to the T, because we're audited, we're monitored, and we got to make sure that, as the treasurer said in her report, that we get good reports from the treasurer's office, but we also have to get good reports from our federal agencies that give us this funding. Are there any questions?
All right, I see no questions for you, Ms. Kelly. Before you go, you mentioned that those tours happen every Thursday.
Yes,
Is there a
ma'am.
specific time?
10 o'clock.
10 a.m. Wonderful. All right, well, hopefully we'll have some folks who are able to take advantage of one of those tours, because it sounds absolutely outstanding. Oh, I'm sorry,
No,
Counselor?
you're fine, you're fine. Maybe a suggestion, maybe one of these days that we have full council like this, maybe, you know, we usually don't eat till noon anyway, if we get here early. Maybe we could go to Job Corps and have lunch over there. They serve 2 different main dishes, have a full salad bar, maybe get a quick tour. Just an idea.
I think that's a great suggestion, Counselor, and we will certainly take that under advisement and coordinate with Ms. Kelly on that.
Yeah, if you can let us know, we have a room off to the side that we call our VIP dining room. Our culinary students they have a cafe in there about once a month, and the kids can buy tickets to come in there and eat, as opposed to being out on the line. Although the food on the line is good, and the kids work with Steve, our cafeteria supervisor, so they actually help put the food out. So we'd love to have you. If you let us know in advance when you can come over. I know Verna has you all up there for Thanksgiving, so maybe we can do something in conjunction with it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, any other questions?
Chair, I just have a
Yes.
comment.
Yes.
I just have a comment, Diane. Several years ago, we did do that and went over there for a lunch, and I remember the food was excellent. And it's very impressive to watch the culinary students do their job for us. So it's rewarding. Thank you.
Good. I'll make sure that the time you guys decide you want to come over, that our recruitment people are there to help with the tour, Julie and her team, because they usually give the tours.
All right, well, it sounds like Counselor?
I realize this is a little off subject, but while I've got you here, I'd like to ask you this. And if this is something that you need to come back maybe next month and provide something to us, or even in between, I would like to know with career services, because of the implications of what McGirt has had on our criminal justice system here in Cherokee Nation. And the reason why I'm asking this is I read the term alternative education, which popped up in my head here. What programs are we offering? And if we're not, do we have plans to try to rehabilitate some of these tribal members who are going to prison, and we are sending them to prison? And I'm not saying necessarily that it's uncalled for. I know that these people have, some of these people have committed crimes, et cetera. But what programs do we have or plans do we have to try to help rehabilitate these people, give them good employment, et cetera, to prevent the vicious cycle from happening that we all know occurs, where they have to keep reoffending?
Councilman Easley, I'm so glad you asked that. I was just meeting with the Recovery Department just a few minutes ago. Matt Lamont heads that up, which is our reentry, our recovery program, and our vocational rehabilitation program. Prior to that, Councilman Legg was the director for that program, and he actually started it. We have 3 Department of Justice grants, and we were notified just about the time McGirt hit that we were getting these grants. We got one the year before, but the year that McGirt hit, we got 3. And we actually are in our last leg of 1 or 2, but we'll probably go into an extension because of the pandemic. We have a good number of people that we have worked with over the years, whether they were male or female, throughout the 14 counties, and we have, we have several places where we can place them as far as housing. We have places that will take them for jobs, and one of the places that works very well with us is the Mid-America Industrial Park in Mays County in Mr. Callison's area. They work with us very well. In fact, we've recognized some of the businesses that have hired a lot of our reentry people. In fact, Ray Corporation has acknowledged us because they said that at one point in time, had they not had the reentry people that we made the referrals to for that business, it would have probably gone under.
Wow.
So we do have some testimonials, and
That's great.
next month, maybe we can do some testimonials for the reentry program since we did the Job Corps this past month. I can't put all the programs in there, but I try to spotlight different programs from month to month.
Sure, and it would be great, maybe if you could take some time to sit down with me and kind of educate me on what those programs are. I know I've got a constituent in mind in my district that specifically comes to my mind of somebody that was in a situation like that, that would like to know about what we're doing to help people in that situation. And specifically, I think it can, we are a tribe that talks about the importance of our Cherokee women. And I think sometimes even women are it is harder on them in that specific situation than some of the men, because they do find themselves having to sometimes go back into situations that they shouldn't have to go back into. And so I think it's really important that we focus on that and focus on, if we're going to be sending people to prison, we need to focus on making sure that they don't go back.
Be glad to do that.
So-
Anytime you have some time, or if you came early for one of the meetings, be glad
Sure.
to sit down with you. When we did the council orientation, we gave everybody a real thick binder. If you go to the career services section, there should be information in there about the programs that we have for the reentry recovery program and how much money we got from the federal government, as well as, I think that's in your budget book, and what it was specifically for.
That's great.
But
Thank you.
Be glad to.
Thank you.
There is one more thing, Madam Chairman, if you don't mind. We are celebrating our 45 years of Job Corps. October the 10th will be our 45-year anniversary. We started up at Northeastern State University back 45 years ago, and they bused students in from Little Rock, Arkansas, and Dallas, Texas, to start us out because we did not have all of our staff on board. We didn't have our recruitment group on board at the time. And Brenda Fitzgerald says she remembers it very well because she was 19 years old, and she had just been hired to help with recruiting. And her boss's name was George Kozier. And she said we had a two-tone van, it was beige and brown, and we took that to every powwow in Oklahoma and recruited students at all these powwows. So I said, Brenda, you're testimonial. She said, oh, yes, oh, yes. She said, that's where I started my career, was in recruitment. But one of the things that we did is we did a little research, and of course, Lyndon Johnson signed the law for Job Corps. It was started during the Kennedy administration, but Lyndon got to take credit for it. But Head Start was also started at the same time, and there were several other programs that were started, and Head Start and Job Corps are the only two that are still around today. So that tells you that they're doing really good, or we wouldn't be here today. And I know Verna's here, so I just wanted to share that with you because I know that she's probably got an anniversary coming up too. But we will be inviting you to come over. We plan to do some things during that week for the students and some of their parents, but we'll have a nice meal that day so you can come over and see what goes on and visit with some of our students. There is another anniversary coming up, but it'll fall into the economic development area, and that's our Tarot, 40 years of Tarot. So we've got a couple of anniversaries coming up, but I just wanted to share that with you because it's important to remember those things. I don't have any other questions. I don't have anything else to report.
Wonderful.
I didn't mean
Well,
to be so long-winded.
I think you've built some suspense for us on looking forward to the announcement of that grant, and the reports are always outstanding. I thank you for your time this afternoon, Ms. Kelly.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, next we are going to have the Executive Director's Report, and I believe we have Aaron Emberton standing in for Mark Vance.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Council, for the opportunity to report to you for Education Services this month. As you do have the report, but just a couple of things I want to just point out real quick, some dates that we want to make sure that we're putting out there to our citizenry. The application for the Remember the Removal Bike Ride is open, and it will close this Friday. So if you have some students or some young people who are wanting to be riders, or if you know some adults that would like to be mentor riders, we could use those applications as well. So that is this Friday, the 15th. So please, if you have anybody in mind, get that word out for us, and we'll have a good applicant base. Another thing I want to put on your radar is October 10th is the inauguration for the Tribal Youth Council at 5:30 in the council chambers. So we'll have more information on that, but just wanted to kind of put that out there real quick on October 10th. Another quick thing is our JOM STEM program, we have this great product called a planetarium, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with what a planetarium is, but in our case, we have this huge, basically an 8-meter diameter inflatable igloo is what it looks like, and then we put a projector in there, and it projects on top of this dome, and it projects basically the universe, planets, stars, and allows students to learn about the planets and the universe through a more multimedia hands-on experience than just sitting in a classroom. Right now, we have it set up at Marietta Schools. We have 2 of them, and we are hoping to get those scheduled throughout the reservation to schools. It does take a while to put up and pull down, so we're trying to make somewhat of a concerted effort to put it in a location where multiple schools can come to one campus and bring kids through, because it's a timely process, but it's a great resource. We're excited to get that finally out to the schools. We're having plenty of calls already for wanting to book that, so I think it'll be a great program for us through our STEM department in JOM. Some other things that are on your report, and I'll let you certainly ask any questions you might have, but as you'll see, the college scholarship, we are getting those scholarships funded. As of last month, around the end of the month, we had a little over $10 million funded already to students with 6,713 applications. So I want to give a great shout out to our college resource team, Chrissy Marsh and her bunch. They're working so hard on getting these applications processed and getting students funded. We know it's the start of school. Everybody's crazy, wants their money. We are efforting that very, very much at this point and trying to make sure that all students are getting funded in a timely manner. But again, the rest of the program highlights are there for you this afternoon. Of course, we'll have Mr. Brown speak for Sequoia and Ms. Thompson speak for our Head Start. But anything else, I'd be happy to take questions and get back with you if I need to, or answer them here.
Great. Do we have any, Counselor Callison?
Yes, sir. Is the qualifications for the removal ride, are they available for us to look at, or how you all choose them, or?
Yes, sir.
Or what?
Yes, sir.
Could you email me that, or maybe if
Absolutely.
anybody else would like to know how that you pick the?
Sure.
Do you pick the same every time as 5, or do you go back?
Oh, no, sir. No, it just depends on our availability and things of that nature. But we also have to look at the coordination with Eastern Band as well. So we also are talking with them and see how many riders they're selecting. So it's a process.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, and I'll get that information to you.
Great. And as a reminder, those applications, are those digital or are those paper applications?
So the application is on the website, actually, so go to the education portion of the website, and you'll scroll down, you'll see RTR, and click on that link, it'll take you to the link will be on that webpage.
Okay, and those are due this Friday,
Correct.
September 15th?
That's
Is that a
correct.
5 PM or an 11:59 PM deadline?
It's an end of day, yeah, 11:59.
End of day. Okay, wonderful. All right, any other questions? Counselor Vasquez?
Just a quick one, thank you. I'm assuming that you will get that date of the October 10th inauguration for the Youth Tribal Council will come to
Yes.
Gail.
It'll
as
go to the
a
proper channels. I just
invite.
wanted to briefly put that out there.
Okay, and it's that evening probably?
Yes, 5:30.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments for Mr. Emberton? All right, seeing no others, thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for your report. We appreciate it. Next, we are going to hear from Verna Thompson for Head Start. Afternoon.
What Diane spoke about already was our 45th anniversary as well. Head Start and Job Corps are sister programs, and I venture to say that two of the most overregulated federally funded programs the tribe operates. I know for Head Start we are, but we are doing all the routine activities and getting a new year started. And I'm proud to say that we are near capacity staff-wise. It's the
Wow.
first time we can say that, so that is a partnership between us and HR. And I'm really appreciative of our business partners that meet with us every two weeks. Yeah, so we touch base and we keep up with the pulse of what's going on in each other's roles and responsibilities so that we can get everything going. But I wanted to take a second, with Head Start being 45 years, I have been involved with Cherokee Nation Head Start since day one in one capacity or another. And I wanted to recognize the two ladies there toward the end of the table that are former Head Start graduates. Yeah, raise your hand if you're those two ladies are, we are looking to see strong advocates for Head Start in those ladies as well. But I wanted to recognize two sages of Head Start, Barbara Little Dave, who celebrated 41 years last month. And I brought them last year, yeah. And Sandra Turner, who will celebrate 41 years. Yeah, the 19th, which is next week, right? Yeah, so I won't have my 40th anniversary until March. But we have several folks in our program that have been there probably a good average of 20 years. Several of the folks that are in supervisory positions have been there 30 years or thereabouts. But we're really excited about October 3rd being Head Start Awareness Day. We're planning activities. Last year, we had council members and chief of staff come up and wear costumes. The children loved it. This year, we're trying to figure out what can be salvaged from the fire. And I don't know how much will go. We had a committee meeting this morning to see what is in our inventory before we really plan the costume activities. But we're excited about the Awareness Day. And we're going to encourage our parents. I'm not a big active person or at all on social media, but we're asking our parents to post their experiences with Head Start. So if you all want to post, council ladies, for your experience in Head Start, October 3rd is the day that you do that. And I understand National Head Start Office is paying close attention to all the things that are posted to possibly use in a campaign for Head Start, because we are, at the federal level, always fighting for every dollar that we get. And I think it's being threatened right now. But I wanted to talk about our enrollment and how we are being creative in doing that. We have 3 sites now that are 4-10 shifts, and that means our staff work 4 days a week, and they are loving it. We started with 1 last year, and it's catching on really well. I think Mr. Emberton will be glad to hear that. 3 of them are 4-10, and we're at capacity in all of those sites.
Wonderful.
Because parents need full-day care.
Yeah, yeah.
And next month, I hope to bring a new initiative that we started. Head Start is a shared decision-making program. We do not make the decisions at the top. It's really bottom-up. So we're having our staff advisory board, along with 5 other boards that function in advising our program, And I want to invite them with me next month so they can watch you all in action. So when we meet with them, they can know what questions to ask because it is their program, they're stakeholders, and we want them to be active in their role. Back to the Thanksgiving lunch. Unfortunately, we won't get to have it this year. We don't have a place to provide that. Any questions?
Oh, gosh. Do we have any questions for Ms. Verna? Sass?
You might not be able to answer this yet, just because I know your technology savviness. But on the Head Start Awareness Day, could we maybe work with communications and create a hashtag for that day? That way, everyone that shares their experience, they can populate from that hashtag.
Hey,
Love
that's
that.
a good idea. We do have lots of tech-savvy folks. That's a wonderful idea. We'll check that out. Mr. Emberton.
All right, any other comments? Well, Ms. Verna, I know that you are on the verge of celebrating your 40 years, and you've brought 2 staff members here with you who are celebrating 41 years. But I think it is a real testament to your leadership that you have such a long tenured staff. Oftentimes, early childhood sees a lot of turnover, and especially our Head Start staffs. I hear that from other tribal nations. But the fact that you have so many staff who have been with you for such a long term, I think it really is a testament to your leadership. I know that you lead with an air of graciousness and generosity and gratitude that I've heard from your staff members, not necessarily the 2 who you have with you today, but I have heard from them that you express this idea that parents bringing their children to you is a gift to you and your staff. And I just think that's absolutely amazing. Our young people, our children growing up, receiving that level of care and nurturing it's unparalleled, and it is absolutely critical, especially for some of the homes where these children originate from.
Thank you for saying that, and I accept it collectively for everybody because they are totally committed to the program. I mean, it's Head Start fever.
Yeah, it's an act of love, isn't it?
Yes, it
Well,
is.
thank you very much,
Thank you.
Ms. Verna. And next, we're going to hear from Sequoia High School, and I see that we have Principal Brown with us today.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Councilman. We just give you a few updates on Sequoia for the week. Parent-teacher conference coming up Thursday evening and Friday morning. School is rolling along really well. We also have a big construction project that's nearing completion. Our football field is, we have a home game Thursday, and our fingers are crossed that everything gets done on time, and we are going to be down to the wire to whether our first game will be at home this Thursday or whether it will be back at NSU. But turf is all down. They're doing field right now. Lights are in. Like I said, we're really excited. Fingers are crossed. Everybody pray for us that stuff gets done and done right, and we're ready to go.
Wonderful.
So you have a report. Does anybody have any questions about anything at Sequoia?
All right, any questions for Principal Brown? All right, now I do have one comment. I saw on the report that there were several hires of STEM teachers there at Sequoia, which I think is absolutely outstanding. My understanding of the job market currently is that STEM teachers are tough to find. So
They are hard to find. We're very fortunate to
Absolutely.
get a good one. So,
I mean, I'm not sure if that's, a function of HR or recruitment or just the good reputation that Sequoia has, but in any case, kudos.
well, thank you. I'll pass that on to Ms. Bunch. She had a big hand in spreading that and getting the word out there. So she's done a good job as far as funding that room and getting it set up the way it is to attract those people.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I see no other questions or comments, so thank you very much for your report this afternoon.
Thank you.
Okay, currently, we have no old business pending, and we have no new business. So do we have any announcements? Counselor?
And this is about our next, actually, it's about November tribal council meetings. There's going to have to be a change. They're scheduled for the 13th. That's the week of NCAI. So if we move them back a week, you're going to put it in the same week as Thanksgiving. So really our only option is to move it up a week to the 6th. which is the same week as Veterans Day, but it's the week with the most open days. So November 6th, we will do all of our meetings, starting at 10 with culture and ending with our tribal council meeting at 6 that night. So November 6th, just to give you all a heads up. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that announcement, Speaker Shambaugh. Are there any other announcements? Okay, seeing no other announcements, I am asking for one final motion. All right, with a motion and a second, we are adjourned.